Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is on a 5-day trip to the United States. Dr. Jaishankar will hold a key bilateral meeting with the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington. He is also scheduled to meet the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres in New York later on. India's foreign minister interacted with permanent representatives as well as the ambassador from India to the United Nations, T.S. Tirumurthy, and other officials and diplomats from India to the UN were also part of this meeting. Jaishankar and the Biden administration are expected to majorly focus their discussions on COVID-19 related cooperation. The key meeting is to ensure that the supply of raw materials from the US for manufacturing of vaccines in India continues uninterrupted. India is also likely to be one of the beneficiaries of the stock of vaccines that the US is willing to share with the world. The talks are expected to revolve around India's pitch to secure the unused vaccines, particularly those manufactured by AstraZeneca. New Delhi is also looking at joint production of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines in collaboration with the United States and India, and ways to help manufacturers such as the Serum Institute of India to boost their production. Remember, the US Embassy had already clarified that private sector production talks are underway between pharmaceutical companies in order to make this happen. Other bilateral issues are also likely to be on the agenda. The leaders are expected to discuss resilient global supply chains as well as the Indo-Pacific region in the backdrop of China's growing belligerence in the region. Jaishankar is also scheduled to meet US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, other senior officials of the Biden administration as well. The meeting is Jaishankar's first visit to the United States since the new president of the US, Joe Biden, assumed office in January this year. Remember, Jaishankar had earlier met Blinken on the sidelines of the G7 foreign ministers meeting in London and had also interacted with the US Global Task Force on the pandemic relief front. The Indian External Affairs Minister is also expected to make a pit stop at the United Nations New York office to meet with Secretary-General Guterres. Apart from discussing the COVID-19 situation in India, the meeting is also expected to be in the backdrop of India joining the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member this year. The leaders might also exchange views on Afghanistan peace talks as well as the Israel-Palestine conflict. Our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibbal gets us more details in this next report. Take a look.
Today is the second day of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's week-long US visit. He will be meeting the UN Secretary-General. The focus, of course, will be on the COVID crisis, on UN reforms being the key aspect of his talks with the UN Secretary-General. We also know that India is a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for a 2-year term period. And India, of course, has been taking part in various proceedings at the high table. But nonetheless, the second leg of the visit will be Washington, where he will be meeting his counterpart, the Secretary of State of United States. The second physical meeting he will be having with his counterpart after the meeting in London on the sidelines of the G7 foreign ministers meeting. But the key focus will be on dealing with the COVID crisis, also perhaps getting vaccines, COVID vaccines from US. He is expected to meet the chiefs of various US pharma majors ahead of the visit. We know that Indian envoy to US had met a number of chiefs of pharma majors like Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. And this could be a major deal breaker in terms of India able to procure more vaccines for its citizens. With video journalist Neeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibbal for WION in New Delhi.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.